It is a nice fall day, mid 60s, sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. And I'm just glad that you have joined us for our midday devotional. It is a busy, busy day. Things have gone very well thus far today. And I just hope, trust, and pray that your day is off to a great start as well. Um, Tonight we have midweek Bible study beginning at 7:30 p.m. But I'm also aware of the fact that we are somewhat comparing slot tonight with the vice presidential debates. Uh, I am happy to note the debates does not start until 9 p.m. I believe Central Time. Initially, I was under the impression that had that been the case, then the truth of the matter was, uh, I thought the debates were going to win out over our Bible study time. But with 9 a.m., that gives us plenty of time to have our Bible class at 7:30. Uh, in that I will dismiss no later than 7:20, probably 7:15. I'm sorry, 8:20, uh, no later than. Uh, and that gives everyone time to kind of catch their breath, change channels, and prepare for the vice presidential debate that begins at 9 o'clock, I believe, Eastern Time. Uh, this week, we've talked about adult topics. On Monday, we looked at the adult topic of what surprises adults. On Tuesday, we talked about the adult topic of responsibility of adults. And today we will talk about adult relationships. And these topics are designed to just kind of brighten the spirits and give each of us as adults hope and optimism, regardless of the stage of life we find ourselves. So let's talk for our time period today about adult relationships. Relationships are defined as being connected and associated in a healthy affiliation one with the other. Adult relationships are really seen as kinships. Adult relationships involve an interrelating of emotions, interrelating of convictions, be sustained over time, more than just transactional. Uh, Also, keep in mind that adult relationships require a specific set of goals, an ideology, a passion that is similar in the accomplishments of those specific objectives. So, what you're seeing at the onset is that for healthy adult relationships to take place, you've got to have people in that mix who understands how relationships are supposed to be defined. Relationships for adults to qualify as healthy, it must be reciprocal by all parties participating in whatever the venture, be it social, business, spiritual, or personal. Have you ever been attempting to kind of connect with people at a relational level and you just kind of keep bumping heads and bumping heads? Typically, that is an indicator that the participants are basically not on the same page. Uh, Keep in mind, in order for it to qualify as a healthy relationship, it must be reciprocal. And when you see that lack of reciprocity, it is a giveaway that somebody in that relationship is not in the relationship with the same mindset of the other individual. Relationships that are important to an individual that does not have a spirit of regard for you probably should be approached with great caution or avoided if at all possible. Unhealthy adult relationships are filled with stress, frustration, confusion, constant miscommunications, escalation in resentment, escalation in anger, and escalation in bitterness. And it's filled with mistrust. See, you can't overlook the qualifiers of a healthy relationship. And the truth of the matter is, healthy relationships are more likely to be found in healthy people. And when people aren't as emotionally, socially, relationally healthy as they should be, it becomes quite a challenge for them to really engage in healthy relationships. They're going to be filled with more stress. They're going to be highly frustrating. You think you've said one thing and the other person has interpreted it completely different. Constant miscommunications. I didn't say that. I didn't commit to that. You misunderstood. There is typically something going on that the relationship is resistant to. And what normally happens is over time, you began to see a pattern of whether that relationship is healthy, or you begin to see a pattern of whether that relationship is not as healthy as it should be. You've heard us talk about abuse wheels, but there is also a healthy relationship wheel. And in that healthy relationship wheel, there are things that individuals just must be aware of. The healthy relationship wheel describes productive adult relationship as possessing the following components. First, every healthy relationship must be surrounded by nonviolent attitudes and centered in equality. Let me give you a visual of that. See the outer rung? Nonviolence, nonviolence. And then in the center is equality. Nonviolence and equality. And everything else in the relationship is connected. Trust and support, non-threatening behaviors, financial, economic interdependence, and independence. Now, there's an interdependence where in the relationship, the people in the relationship depends on each other. But there is a level of independence in the relationship. to where although everybody depends on each other, it's not a leeching. It's not an unhealthy affixation. Because when you get into that unhealthiness of an interdependence, then it takes the independence away. There must be fairness. There must be, if there are children involved, there must be responsible parenting. There must be honesty and accountability. And there must be connections with the other people in the relationship. There's no such thing as a healthy relationship and no connections. That is an oxymoron. For husbands and wives, there is no such thing as saying we have a healthy relationship and no connection to each other. That typically means somebody is using somebody for an ulterior purpose in that relationship. It could be for a place to stay. Some people are in relationships just to have children. Some people are in a relationship just because socially it looks good, spiritually it looks good, but it may not be spiritually right. I want you to take a look at a passage that's found in the book of Amos, chapter 3, verses 1, 2, and 3. Amos chapter 3, verses 1 through 3. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, you children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Israel has been selected by God Himself to have a personal, intimate walk with Him, a relationship. That's why He said, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up. I was in this 100% with you. I was 100% supportive of getting you out of violence into a non-violent. Remember now, for over 400 years, they've been in an unhealthy Egypt. And God says it was me, because of our relationship, I came and got you. It was because I loved you. And God is now saying to Israel, but you didn't love me back. Remember the equality at the center of the wheel? God is saying, I'm inundated in loving you, but you're transactional in loving me. And now that you've gotten out of Egypt and you've gotten out of the wilderness and you are in the land flowing with milk and honey, are you saying you don't need me anymore because you've gotten what you want out of me? He says, keep in mind, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. My ultimate intimacy is with you, Israel. Always has been. And then he raises a question. Can we keep walking together in this relationship if we can't agree on that? Can two walk together if they're not focused on the same game, the same goal. I'm in this to bless you, to love you, to protect you, to have an intimacy with you. And his challenge to Israel is, are you in this for the same reason I'm in it? Is your definition of a relationship the same as God's definition of a relationship? If you're married, can two walk together except they have the same definition for the relationship? This is even true in the world of work. Some people just work for a paycheck. And that's going to make the job very challenging. Because one person can be in it just for the money, and yet the other could be in it because we are working together. We are striving together. We are headed somewhere together. And the other person is saying, there's no we in this. You just pay me. I leave you alone. Don't ask me anything personal about my life. I won't ask you anything personal about your life. Don't ask me about your children. I'm not going to ask you about, don't you ask me anything about my family. I won't ask you anything about yours. Don't ask me anything about my weekends, and I won't ask you anything about yours. That's a transactional relationship. And when we're doing God's business in relationships, family, communities, we must learn as adults what is God's definition. What are God's expectations of relationships? I hope today's devotional has been meaningful to you, because it is designed to really bless us and to draw us closer together as a family of God, and also as just people who love people. Let me invite you to pray with me at this time. Father, it's only through your grace and it's only through your mercy over each of us that we live and that we move and we have our very being. I pray that our relationship with you will be a relationship of love and a relationship of kinsmen, a relationship of joy, a relationship that we're happy to be in because of who you are and because of what you've done for us. You've created this world for us to dwell. You've provided safety. You've given us the sustainability of life with food and clothing and shelter. Father, help us to learn to rejoice and to be glad to be in such a relationship with such a loving God. Father, I pray fervently for this country. Father, not only do I pray that you will deliver us from evil, but that you will also help those who resist you to see in a powerful way that you are God and besides you there is no other. Keep our families safe through this COVID crisis. Protect us, Father. Use us to your glory. Through Jesus I pray. Amen. I look forward to seeing you tonight at 7:30 at our midweek Bible study. Begins at 7:30 at pg-coc.org, back at the Facebook page, at the YouTube channel. But we just want you to be connected, and we want you to allow us to love you in a godly relationship. We'll see you either at 7:30 tonight or at noon on tomorrow. God bless you.
Oh, don't forget the family prayer. Oh, Jesus, yes, it will be there. Oh, when we all get together. Hey, hey. Don't forget to be no. You know prayer will sail across the ocean. I know it will. Prayer will bring your wandering son back home. Sure enough it will. I know prayer will help you love your enemy. Sure enough it will. I know prayer will teach you right from wrong. Yeah, Lord have mercy this evening. Family prayer. I know my Jesus. I know the Lord will. Yes, He will. He meet you right there. Oh, when we all got together. Oh, don't forget family prayer. Listen, I know prayer will. Oh, yeah. Across the ocean, sure enough it will. Faster than a plane can go. Oh, yes, it will. I know prayer will. Oh, yeah. Help you in time of trouble. Oh, yes, it will. I know prayer will. Prayer will. Give you strength. Yes, it will. Oh, don't you know? Yeah. Lord have mercy this evening. Family prayer. Will. I know the Lord will meet you right there. When we all got together. Yeah. Forget all our family life. Come on, Robert. You know prayer will help you in a time of sorrow. Oh, yes, it will. Lord, prayer. I know prayer will bring peace into your home. Sure enough, it will. Oh, yes, it will. Lord, prayer. I know prayer. Help us sleep at night. Oh, yes, it will. Just like a baby. Oh, yeah. I know prayer. It'll make your enemy. Oh, yes, it will. It'll make your enemy. Oh, yeah. It'll make your enemy. Oh, it'll make your enemy. Yeah. Yeah. Jesus. I know Jesus. Yes, He will. He'll meet you Pray